Have you ever slipped on a pair of shoes and felt a little pinch near your big toe? Maybe a nagging ache that you brushed off as just part of the day. Or maybe you've noticed a bump forming at the base of your toe, making your favorite loafers feel tighter than they used to. If this sounds familiar, you might be dealing with the early signs of a bunion. And trust me, you're not alone. Bunions are one of those foot problems that sneak up on so many of us, especially as we get into our 60s, 70s, and beyond. They're not just about how your feet look. That bony bump can make walking uncomfortable, keep you from enjoying your daily stroll, or even make you think twice about wearing shoes you love. But here's the good news. You don't have to let bunions take over your life. A lot of what causes them, or makes them worse, comes down to simple habits we might not even realize are hurting us. Today, I'm going to walk you through 4 common foot care mistakes seniors make that can lead to bunions, and more importantly, I'll share easy fixes you can start today to keep your feet happy and pain-free. Let's kick things off with something we all do without thinking: choosing our shoes. The first mistake is one that's so easy to fall into, and it's wearing tight shoes, especially ones that squeeze your toes together. I know. Those sleek dress shoes or cute heels can look so stylish, and maybe you've had a favorite pair forever that you just can't let go of. But here's why tight shoes are such a problem for bunions. When your toes are crammed into a narrow space, especially around the big toe, it puts pressure on the joint at the base of that toe. Over time, that pressure can push the toe out of alignment, forming that telltale bunion bump. It's like forcing your feet into a mold they weren't meant to fit. And after 60, our feet are a bit less forgiving. They need room to breathe. Tight shoes can also irritate the skin over a bunion, making it red and sore, which only adds to the discomfort. Let me tell you about my friend Doris, who's 66 and loves her weekly dance classes. She used to wear these narrow, pointy flats because they matched her outfits perfectly, and she thought they were comfortable enough. But she started noticing a bump on her big toe, and her feet would ache after dancing, sometimes so much she'd have to sit out a song or two. She didn't realize her shoes were part of the problem until she talked to a podiatrist, who pointed out that her toes were being squeezed together all day. So Doris made a change. She started shopping for shoes with a wider toe box, ones that let her toes spread out naturally, like they're lounging instead of fighting for space. She found a pair of soft leather sneakers that looked just as stylish, and she was amazed at how much better her feet felt. The ache in her big toe eased up, and she's back to twirling across the dance floor with a smile. Now, she checks every pair of shoes to make sure her toes have wiggle room, and she says it's like giving her feet a little freedom. So, how can you avoid this mistake? It's all about choosing shoes that treat your feet kindly. Look for ones labeled wide, or with a roomy toe box. Think sneakers, loafers, or sandals that don't pinch or taper at the front. When you try them on, stand up and wiggle your toes to make sure there's space, about a thumb's width between your longest toe and the end of the shoe. If you love heels, stick to low ones, no higher than an inch, to reduce pressure on your toes. Doris swears by slipping her feet into a pair of soft, wide-toe slippers at home, too, instead of going barefoot, which can also stress your joints. If you're not sure where to start, visit a shoe store with a fitting expert. They can measure your feet, since their size can change as we age. It's like giving your feet a new best friend, and it can stop a bunion from getting worse, or even keep one from starting. Now, as we're thinking about giving our toes the space they deserve, there's another mistake that's just as easy to make, and it's one that can let a bunion sneak up on you before you know it. It's ignoring the early signs of a bunion, like that little ache or bump you might think is no big deal. I get it, life's busy, and a twinge in your foot doesn't always feel like something to worry about. Maybe you tell yourself it's just a sore spot from walking too much, or you figure it'll go away on its own. But here's why paying attention early is so important. A bunion doesn't just appear overnight. It starts with small signals, like discomfort in your big toe joint, a slight bump, or even redness after wearing certain shoes. If you ignore those signs, the misalignment can get worse, turning a minor annoyance into a painful problem that makes every step a challenge. Catching it early gives you a chance to stop it in its tracks, keeping your feet comfortable and mobile. I remember my neighbor Tom, who's 70 and loves his daily hikes with his walking group. He started feeling a dull ache near his big toe a while back, especially after long trails, and he noticed a small bump forming. At first, he shrugged it off, thinking it was just his feet getting tired. But the ache got worse, and the bump started rubbing against his hiking boots. Luckily, his wife urged him to see a podiatrist, who confirmed it was an early bunion. Tom learned that ignoring it could have led to more pain and even limited his hiking. So, he started making changes, like wearing wider boots and using a padded toe spacer at night to ease the pressure. He also began checking his feet regularly for changes. He told me it was like catching a small leak before it became a flood, and now he's back to leading his group up the trails, pain-free and full of energy. The fix here is simple but powerful. Listen to your feet and act early. If you feel pain or notice a bump near your big toe, don't wait. Take a closer look. Try switching to roomier shoes right away to reduce pressure, and consider using over-the-counter bunion pads to cushion the area. If the discomfort lingers, make an appointment with a podiatrist. They can suggest gentle solutions, like custom inserts, before things get worse. Tom keeps a little mirror by his chair to check his feet weekly, and he says it's become a habit, like brushing his teeth. It's like being your own foot detective, catching those early clues, so you can keep moving with ease. As we're thinking about how our shoes and attention to early signs can make such a difference, it's like we're learning to treat our feet with the care they deserve. There's another habit we might be skipping, one that's easy to overlook but can really help keep bunions at bay, especially when it comes to keeping our feet strong and flexible. You know, as we've been talking about giving our feet the right shoes and paying attention to those early warning signs, it's like we're building a little roadmap to keep our feet happy and free from bunions. It's amazing how much power we have to make a difference with small, everyday choices, isn't it? Our feet carry us through so much: walks with friends, trips to the market, maybe even a dance or two. And they deserve a bit of extra love to stay strong. But there's one thing a lot of us tend to skip, something that's so easy to overlook in the hustle of life. And it's a mistake that can let bunions creep in or make them worse. I'm talking about neglecting foot exercises. Those simple moves that keep your feet flexible and sturdy. I can almost hear you saying, exercises? For my feet? But trust me, giving your feet a little workout can be a game changer, and it's so much easier than you might think. Now I get it. When we hear exercise, we might picture jogging or lifting weights, and that's not what this is about at all. Foot exercises are gentle, quick, and you can do them right from your favorite chair, whether you're watching your evening show or sipping your morning coffee. The problem with skipping them is that our feet can get stiff over time, especially after 60, when the muscles and joints don't move as freely as they used to. When your toes and arches aren't strong or flexible, it puts extra strain on the big toe joint, the exact spot where bunions form. Weak foot muscles can't support proper alignment, so that joint gets pushed out of place, making that bunion bump grow. Plus, stiff feet are more likely to feel achy, which can make you avoid moving altogether. And that's the last thing we want when staying active keeps us feeling young and vibrant. Let me tell you about my friend Clara, who's 68 and loves her weekly bingo nights at the community center. A couple of years ago, she started noticing a bunion forming on her left foot. It wasn't huge, but it was sore, and she worried it'd get worse. She was already wearing wider shoes, but she still felt like her feet were dragging her down. Her physical therapist suggested some simple foot exercises to strengthen her toes and arches, and Clara thought it sounded like something she'd never stick with. But she gave it a try, starting with just a few minutes a day. One of her favorites was the toe spread. She'd sit down, rest her feet flat on the floor, and spread her toes as wide as she could, like she was trying to wave with them. Then relax and repeat 10 times. She'd do it while chatting on the phone or waiting for her tea to steep. After a few weeks, she was amazed. Her feet felt less stiff, and the bunion wasn't as tender. She told me it was like waking her feet up, and now she's back to calling out bingo, without wincing when she stands up. So, how can you avoid this mistake and give your feet the workout they need? It's all about starting small and making it fun, so it feels like a treat rather than a chore. One of the best exercises is the toe curl, which strengthens the muscles that support your big toe joint. Grab a small towel, Lay it flat on the floor and place your foot on it. Use your toes to scrunch the towel toward you, like you're pulling it in, then push it back out and repeat for a minute or two. You can do this while reading a book or listening to music. It's so easy. You'll hardly notice you're exercising. Clara started doing towel scrunches during commercials, and she says it's become her little ritual, like a mini break for her feet. Another great move is the marble pickup. If you've got a few marbles or small balls, scatter them on the floor and use your toes to pick them up and drop them into a cup. It's like a game, and it builds dexterity in your toes, helping them stay aligned. If you're looking for something even simpler, try ankle circles to loosen up your joints and improve circulation, which can ease bunion discomfort. Just lift one foot slightly, point your toes, and rotate your ankle slowly. 5 times one way, then 5 the other. Switch to the other foot and repeat. You can do this anywhere, sitting at the kitchen table, waiting at the doctor's office, or even chatting with a neighbor. Aim for 5 to 10 minutes of foot exercises a day. Spread out if you like, and you'll start to feel your feet getting stronger and more flexible. Clara keeps a little basket with a towel and some marbles by her couch, so she's always ready to do a quick session. She says it's not just her bunion that feels better. Her whole foot feels livelier, like it's ready to keep up with her busy schedule. What I love about foot exercises is how they fit into your life, no matter what you're up to. Maybe you're like my Uncle Fred, who's 73 and loves his woodworking projects. He started doing toe stretches while sanding his latest birdhouse, lifting his toes up while keeping his heels on the ground, holding for a few seconds, then relaxing. He says it's helped his bunion stop aching as much, and he's got more energy for his craft. If you're worried about time, start with just one exercise and build from there. You don't need a gym or fancy equipment, just a few moments to show your feet some care. And if you feel any pain while exercising, ease up and check with a doctor or physical therapist to make sure you're on the right track. It's like planting a seed for stronger feet, and the results grow faster than you'd expect. You know, as we're thinking about how these little movements can make such a big difference, it's like we're learning to listen to our feet in a whole new way. There's one more mistake we might be making, something that seems small but can really add up when it comes to keeping bunions at bay, especially if we're not giving our feet the attention they need to stay healthy. You know, as we've been talking about giving our feet those little workouts to keep them strong and flexible, it's like we're learning to treat our feet like the loyal friends they are, always there, carrying us through life's adventures. It's so empowering to realize how much we can do to keep bunions from slowing us down, whether it's slipping into roomier shoes, catching early signs before they grow, or moving our toes in ways that feel good. But there's one more thing a lot of us might not think about, something that seems so simple but can quietly make a big difference, especially when it comes to bunions. I'm talking about poor foot hygiene, those moments when we might rush through caring for our feet or skip it altogether. I know life gets busy, and washing your feet thoroughly might not always feel like a priority. But stick with me, because keeping your feet clean and healthy is like giving them a fresh start every day, and it's a key to keeping bunions in check. Poor foot hygiene isn't about anyone being careless. It's just that sometimes we don't realize how much our feet need a little extra attention, especially after 60. When you don't clean your feet properly, like skipping between your toes or letting sweat and dirt linger, it can create trouble, especially around a bunion. That bony bump is already under pressure, and if the skin nearby gets irritated from dirt or moisture, it can turn red, sore, or even develop blisters that make walking painful. Worse, if bacteria or fungus sneak in, say, from damp socks or unwashed feet, it can lead to infections that make a bunion feel 10 times worse. Bunions can also cause calluses or corns from rubbing against shoes, and without good hygiene, those spots can harden or crack, adding to your discomfort. Keeping your feet clean and cared for is like clearing the path for them to stay comfortable and healthy, so you can keep doing the things you love without wincing. Let me tell you about my friend Helen, who's 67 and loves her daily walks with her book club. She used to be so busy that she'd hop out of her sneakers after a walk, rinse her feet quickly in the shower, and call it a day. She didn't think much about it until she noticed her bunion getting red and tender, especially after sweaty summer days. It started to hurt more, and she even found a small crack in the skin nearby that stung when she put on her shoes. Her doctor pointed out that skipping thorough foot cleaning was letting irritation build up, making her bunion worse. So Helen made a change. She started a simple routine. Every evening, she'd soak her feet in warm water with a splash of mild soap for a few minutes, making sure to clean between her toes with a soft cloth. Then she'd pat them dry, really dry, especially around her bunion, and rub in a bit of plain lotion to keep the skin soft. After a couple of weeks, she was amazed. The redness calmed down, her bunion wasn't as sore, and she felt confident lacing up her walking shoes again. She told me it was like giving her feet a mini spa treatment, and now it's her favorite part of the day. So, how can you avoid this mistake and keep your feet clean and happy? It's easier than you think, and it doesn't take much time. Start by washing your feet every day. Even if you've already showered, use warm water and a gentle soap, and take a moment to clean around your bunion and between your toes, where moisture can hide. A soft washcloth works great for getting into those spots without scrubbing too hard. After washing, dry your feet thoroughly. Don't skip this, because damp skin is a magnet for trouble. Use a clean towel and pay extra attention to the area around your bunion to keep it free of irritation. Helen keeps a small towel just for her feet, so it's always ready by the sink. Once your feet are dry, apply a basic moisturizer, like a fragrance-free lotion or even a dab of petroleum jelly, to prevent the skin from cracking. But don't slather it between your toes, as that can trap moisture. Another tip is to keep your socks and shoes fresh. Dirty socks or damp insoles can undo all your good work. Wash your socks in hot water regularly, and if your shoes get sweaty, let them air out completely before wearing them again. You can even sprinkle a bit of baking soda inside to keep them smelling clean. If you're prone to sweaty feet, try wearing breathable socks made of cotton or bamboo, and change them if they get damp during the day. Helen started slipping on clean socks after her walks, and she says it's like giving her feet a quick refresh. If you notice any redness or cuts near your bunion that don't improve after a day or two, don't wait. Check with a podiatrist to make sure everything's okay. It's like being a guardian for your feet, catching small problems before they grow. What I love about good foot hygiene is how it feels like a small act of kindness you can do for yourself every day. Maybe you're like my Uncle Joe, who's 75 and loves his gardening. He started washing his feet carefully after digging in the dirt, using a little basin by the back door, and he says his bunion doesn't bother him as much now. No more rough, irritated skin slowing him down. It's a habit that fits into your life, whether you're busy or taking it easy, and it sets the stage for all the other fixes we've talked about, like wearing wide shoes, catching early signs, and keeping your feet strong with exercises. As I think about these 4 mistakes, cramming our toes into tight shoes, ignoring those first twinges, skipping foot exercises, and rushing through foot care, it's like we've been uncovering little ways to take better care of ourselves. It's not about being perfect or making big changes overnight. It's about small steps, like slipping on a comfy pair of sneakers, doing a quick toe stretch, or taking a moment to wash your feet with care. Each one is like a promise to keep moving, keep laughing, keep living life to the fullest. I've seen it with so many folks like you. People who are out there enjoying their days, from volunteering to dancing to just savoring a quiet moment with a good book. These fixes can feel like a big win, like walking without pain and feeling confident in every step. So, I encourage you to try one of these ideas today. Maybe check your shoes for wiggle room or give your feet a good wash tonight. And I'd love to hear from you. What's a foot care tip you've tried, or a change you're excited to make? Drop a comment below and share your story. It's like we're all in this together, cheering each other on. If you found this helpful, give the video a thumbs up. It's a little way to say you're part of our vitagohealth family. And don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a tip to keep you shining. Here's to happy, healthy feet and all the places they'll take you. Happy birthday to you at every age, because every day is a chance to feel your best.